What is up, guys? Eric here from UVM Productions, here with a different video, different situation. I came here actually to show you guys a few things on the bag. I'll see if I can position the camera somewhere where you guys can actually see. Like I said actually about a year ago, I actually want to make more videos with other people, exhibiting some of the stuff that I'm trying to explain in the MMA videos. Then on top of it, some of the sound videos, I need somebody, like an assistant so to speak, because what I've learned over the last 2 years while being sick with the chronic illness and stuff is, speakers are very heavy, like crazy heavy. Okay, let me just move you guys there. I think that's a bit better. Speakers are crazy heavy, and you have to be exceptionally strong to move them with ease, and I'm nowhere near that anymore, you guys can see. And yeah, but that's why I'm here, and I'll be at different gyms in the future and stuff like that if everything goes well. Soon I'm going for an operation and stuff in like a week or two, and I think for that time period I'm going to be MIA, just being honest. Maybe I'll post some gaming videos in that time if the procedure goes well. I'm a bit worried that the procedure is just going to be a little bit of a situation. All right, let's talk about UFC 326 real quick. All right, initial thoughts and how I felt about it. It was decent. Not the best, not the worst. Only like an hour ago did I hear all the horror stories of how it went for some people streaming it. We have like this different kind of streaming service that we have, which works really well. So at least that is not a problem for me. However, I do understand people crying about Paramount because Paramount apparently has issues like blue screening. The physical production is not doing that well at the UFC event physically, like cameras showing random stuff, yada yada. So I give it a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. Now, I started watching just when Robocop won his fight, like literally just when he got his knockout. And I was like, oh yeah, we're eating good today because of my predictions. However, two things to note. One, it didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to. I wanted 100% for this fight card, which I'll get into later. And then two, I actually wanted to bet, but I didn't get time. No time to do that. So, it's chilled. Cool. Rodriguez got the knockout. I thought he would get TKO, and that's fine. Cody Garbrandt won versus Xiaolong. Apparently a lot of people are crying about it, and it's because Cody was fighting very tentatively. Who else? Rob Font versus Raul Rosas. Very boring performance, and I was kind of disappointed in Raul in the sense of him having zero urgency to cause damage. Now, hear me out. I started grappling, then got into karate as a kid. And our classes, which I'm blessed that our classes did it, we had wrestling sessions with drilling, and we had rolling sessions, like the warm-ups we get for jiu-jitsu. And I think it's because the style of karate that I was doing, they noticed that you need to implement some of the stuff to be a well-rounded fighter. So I was blessed with that, and I noticed really early on that I'm better at wrestling. So, better than almost anybody in my class, and it paid dividends through the years. I like grappling-based fights. That means if I want to fight, I would rather go to the ground view. And generally, I loved it because I like dominating bigger guys. Those kind of guys, really tall guys, with the attitude and the issues. It's more the insecurity of their length. It just boils over. Those kinds of guys. You want to smash them, like Khabib said. That's one of the reasons why I like Khabib so much. Now, the problem that I had with Raul's performance is he gets the position, he's down. He is, let's say he's in mount. Let's say he's in crucifix, if I remember correctly. Whenever he's in the position, even when he's on top, inside control, anything, he's not landing strikes. He's not tripoding up, trying to land strikes. He's not getting in a position while he's in the position, he's not trying to land strikes. If he got the body lock, he's just laying there. Like literally, I was counting for 10 seconds or so. He's just counting there. He's just laying there. It's not like he was gassed. He wasn't trying. And when he did, it was such pitiful stuff. And also, a lot of grapplers need to watch the Charles Oliveira fight, need to rewatch Tony Ferguson in his prime and take notes. Who else? Actually, Tom Holland, the strike from the bottom, the hammer fist from the bottom, stuff like that. TJ Dillashaw versus Lineker. Watch when he got him to the ground with a broken jaw. In fact, the stuff, the tricks they use there to cause damage. These guys are the best, and you need to learn from them. I've always wondered why people don't use some of these tricks and stuff. Now, I'm going to keep it hush because it's more so you have to go look and see what I saw. And then maybe if you're training, implement it into your fights. Well, your fight training. Anyway, I got that one right. Just was boring as hell. Who else fought? I'm tired, guys. I have like 1 hour of sleep or something. Anyway, let's jump ahead. Oh yeah, Kai Barallo. Hold on, that's only 5 fights now. You see, I can't minimize on my camera, otherwise I'm going to cancel the video. Anyway, guys, if I'm getting one of the fights, cool. Kaio versus the Ritter. I was worried for this fight. And seeing the Ritter come out, so he looked stressed. I was really worried then, because if you're mentally stressed, you're going to stress more in the fight and your body's going to go afterwards. And guess what? Him breaking mentally and his body going afterwards is very bad. It snowballs and he instantly starts losing. Also, guys, I'm just checking because there's a lot of wind outside and I don't want to be here when there's a hailstorm. Anyhow, it seemed like his nerves started to go away because he was doing all right in the first round versus Kaio. I was just worried that he's going to stand and bang, and he mostly did, but then I noticed it's because he didn't want to gas himself out by trying to take down Kaio the whole time, so he was tentative there, got struck, like he got rocked many times by getting struck in the face because of it. Didn't land as many knees as he used to, or didn't go for as many of them. And I understand that, but it's a little bit problematic for wanting to get the win. And then obviously the last round, the roles were reversed for a moment. So it was a rightful win to Kaio. And I was a little bit frustrated with this one because I was like, really? Now the snowball of the wins has been broken for me. Anyhow, let's move to the big fight. Again, the one where you can take away the most, in my opinion. Like a lot of these big fights are the big fight for a reason. Like for a reason, you can learn a lot. A lot of people are going to be like, no, you don't learn a lot by seeing Charles on top of Max, but I'll get into it now. Okay, one thing I do have to mention before we move on. When Kaio and Renier was in front of each other. Now imagine this is striking range where they can kick and then move in and then land strikes. Okay, just for example, they were both moving in rhythm with each other and striking when the other one was, let's say, not set or ready to strike. And funny enough, Renier tried to time Kaio with a knee to the body with it, kind of like Sean Strickland just did in his fight. The only problem is he didn't time it correctly and he didn't bring his knee up high enough and got clocked because of it. Now, if Renier were to rematch Kaio, he should use this, because I caught the rhythm of Kaio and I noticed, oh, he has a rhythm, he rhythm steps. And if you time him correctly or you lull him into a certain pattern, you can strike in between. So on the offbeat, you can attack like 1, 2, pop, 1, 1, 2, and then pop. Like you have to stop, go. Guys that do this very well is Volkanovski. Izzy used to do it quite well. He changed his style a tiny bit. Dricus du Plessis is also a guy that really times this well. Funny enough, this leads into Kaio actually calling out Dricus, which I would like that fight more than the Brendan Allen fight. I know there's heat behind the Brendan Allen fight. However, I prefer this fight because of how it would play out on the feet, not on the ground, just rolling around and stuff, i.e. not being boring. Anyway, if Renier learns anything from this fight, I'd say get more fit. He's still not there. Like, he was a lot slimmer, and you could see he was a lot more lean, but he's not there yet. And something is off. He needs to get his diet correct, his training. My brain instantly said he needs to talk to Islam Makhachev and those guys and say, can I spend like 6 months with you guys and train? Like, I know the meme is there, 2 to 3 years to Dagestan and forget, but really, do you know how advantageous that would be as a grappler based MMA fighter? Like, look at Bilal Muhammad, look how good he went. He became champion because he trained with those guys. Sorry, it's just the truth. Renier needs that for the conditioning, and then he needs a coach for the dietary side. Like, and he needs to be strict. If he does that for 6 to, let's say, 9 months, his cardio will climb, and he'll feel a little bit better at this weight class. Because if he goes to light heavyweights, he has a chance, but not a good chance, in my opinion. He's too small for those guys, but he's too big for middleweight, if you get what I mean. Anyhow, I want Dricus versus Kyle. I really think Dricus should be like, pump the brakes, Brendan. Whoop, I'm going for this. Let Brendan fight whoever wins or loses between, let's say, Strickland and Hamzat. The loser fights Brendan. The winner gets the instant title shot. I'm saying that because there's a big chance that Brendan gets that shot. I'm just being honest. Brendan has a different style with his wrestling and stuff. Anyhow, main event. Okay, what I learned from this fight is Charles Oliveira has a deceptively strong body lock. Like, when he grabbed Max, and obviously he used his length, his leverage, to put him down. I was shocked because he froze Max in place. Now, usually Max uses hips and positioning while moving to get out of these kind of takedown scenarios. However, he couldn't do it here. And funny enough, Khabib, still in my opinion, the best MMA grappler. GSP is a better all-rounded fighter, but he's just behind him there. Islam, same. Those guys fall down the interior list, in my opinion. Khabib is still the best MMA grappler. He did this. He'd shoot and then crush, deadly force, constrict on his opponent. Because if you're not in motion, like, objects in motion tend to stay in motion. If you can't cause motion or angles and stuff, then you're literally like this. You fall down and you can't move. A good example of this in nature is when a cheetah catches a young buck, springbok. They usually just latch and fall with them, and then bite them, get the neck, kill, just run off with them, because it's a matter of no more motion. I learned this very early on, that if you can get the body lock or whatever body part, if you can get the hips, the upper shoulders, which, by the way, this is exactly what Charles did, or if you can bend them at the waist, it's another thing. But let's focus on the static strength part. If you get the shot down around the hips, you lock them. Think DC versus Gustafsson with the high crotch. There was no more movement for Gustafsson with his hips. He couldn't do anything until he was lifted. Why? Because of the static strength there, the static position, because DC was locking his hip down and then lifting him. And then with this, with Charles and Max was trying to defend like this, and then Charles, because he was in this position, he locked him in. You see, crushes him in, whoop, and because he's tall, this is a trick that I learned when I was younger with taller guys as well. Tall, thin guys specifically, or lean guys in this situation. You can lock them down like this, get their leverage, and then put them down. Funny enough, this is exactly in a way what Islam Makhachev reverse did on Charles Oliveira. You go rewatch that fight. Before he did the trip, I forgot what they called it again, the move. But then again, point is, if you can lock him in position, you can put him down. If you have the back strength as well. So I was so shocked at how, when Oliveira got on Max, how statically strong he is, his isometric strength. What else did we learn? Oh, Charles Oliveira was out to cause damage on the ground, and I think this was like a payback thing. He didn't like possibly how Max was talking about, oh, maybe I'll submit Charles Oliveira in this fight, and he didn't like that way back. The fight went the way it went, and people were like, no, he's a quitter, and I think the narrative really hit him. That's why when he went out, somebody watching with me said, it seemed like Oliveira was very emotional in this fight. And I was like, that's interesting. To me, he looked nervous actually when he was walking out. But it wasn't that kind of nervous. It was emotional nervous. He felt, I need to make up for 10 years back, 11 years back when I lost. And that can go two ways. It can go the way it went, the positive way, or the bad way. Because in the Islam Makhachev fight, he was very animated, he was angry, and you could see he was trying to prove a point versus Islam, but in anger. So he wasn't thinking clearly. So the other route, he's thinking clearly, but he has that edge, that angry edge, that he needs to prove it to himself. You see, there's a difference. It's not anger towards the person like it was with Islam, it was towards himself. Because in the Islam fight, if you guys remember in the media that led up to that fight, Khabib, the whole team, and Islam himself was indirectly talking very arrogantly about how Charles grappled. And that really peeved him off. Even after the fight, he still talks about it and is frustrated that he wants that fighter still. Which, I have an idea, but I'll talk about it now. Anyway, in this fight, he was clear-minded, meaning he learned from the Islam fight. That is very dangerous and still scary that Charles, Mr. Olives, is still adapting and learning. And then on the feet, because Max, he's a guy that likes to find his range and he likes to get momentum building. Because he didn't get his momentum building, when the last 10 seconds of this fight happened, Charles cracked him. Because the reach advantage that Charles has, and then on top of it, because Max had no more momentum here and he didn't find his range fast enough before he got boa constricted to the ground every round. So that means he's in range and also he doesn't have his timing, all that kind of stuff down. And then he got cracked. Because we know Charles hits like a truck. It doesn't seem that way because he hasn't been knocking people out cold. But if you really think about it, he rocked Gamrot, he rocked Arman, nearly submitted him, which I still think he actually did submit him there, but yeah, Arman just woke up. He himself said he went out for a moment with the guillotine, but oh well, the fight went on. And then every fight that Oliveira was in, he hurt the opponent outside of Islam Makhachev. And no, he hurt Topuria. People forget. He landed the elbow and he sent Topuria reeling for a moment. Only thing is, Topuria has a very good poker face. What else did we learn? Something I don't think other people would point out. Oliveira was cutting the cage so well. He was standing for a moment with Max, and then he started jabbing or kicking, and he didn't kick to the body as much as he usually does. And then he would step on an angle and corner Max like this. Max didn't realize. Max was like, okay, now we're striking. And then the next moment, he's midway across the cage here. I need to turn to him. And then he realized, my back's against the wall. Whoop! And then Oliveira's on top of him. There's more to say about this fight because it's very entertaining. It's a striking, grappling exhibition. However, it wasn't a BMF fight in the same sense as normal. A lot of people are like, now, retire the belt. I'm like, no, don't. Just, we really need to let people relinquish the belt every now and again. Like, let it move between weight classes from there. Like, Yuri Prohaska, he is a BMF. Like, that dude's crazy. We need him to get a fight for that belt at one point. It makes more sense. Like, it makes a lot more sense. He doesn't fight fully clinically. He's just like, I'm going to run in here and start swinging at you. And that's why his fights are so violent. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought. I'll make a separate video about who I think these guys should fight. And then I'll make another video in here about the White House card. And I want to show you guys something on the bag as well. So 3-4 videos in the next few days. Cool. Cheers.